Hey everybody, I hope you can hear me now. I am so sorry for the technical difficulties we had a little while ago. So I am just going to pop over to the Facebook page so I can look at your comments and let me know if you can hear me this time. So what was happening is that I have two microscopes. I have this one, which needs to plug into a computer, and I have this one, which clips onto my phone. So I was trying to use this one, and something was happening with all of the devices working together where you couldn't hear me. And that's really frustrating. So now I'm just going to use this microscope. I promise it'll still be cool. So if you can hear me, I see there's one person watching. Please type in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me because I want to make sure that you can. So it's a good show. Okay, so I am Carolyn Byers, Education Director at Madison Audubon, and I'm going to cut right to the chase because we're already 11 minutes into this lesson, and I want to make sure we get through it all. So this lesson is a part of our Forces of Nature summer camp, and it's free, it's open to anyone, and you can access all of our lessons at madisonaudubon.org. So jump right into this week's summer camp. If you haven't already, you're at Herp Week. Pam, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. That's awesome. It's so hard not teaching in person and not being able to get feedback about stuff like that. So thank you, Pam. Anyways, you can jump right into this week's summer camp. We're on week 3 of Herp Week, or you can wait a week and join us when we start a new round of summer camp. And we're going to start right into Bird Week for week 1. All right, visit our website, find out more, type questions in the comments, and I will answer them. So what we're here today to talk about, since it's Herp Week, are turtle eggs, and specifically how turtle eggs are the same or different from bird eggs. And this all started because about 2 weeks ago, I've been holding on to this for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was out hiking with my kiddo, and we were at Pheasant Branch, which is a local natural area in Madison. And it's really cool because it's this big, wonderful natural area surrounded by city and suburb. And it's really nice to be able to hop on a bus or drive a very short ways. I can even walk there if I've got my hiking boots on, and be in a natural space. And I know that not everybody has access to nature right now. And so I feel really lucky that my city has so many natural pockets within it that I can go visit. So anyways, I was out hiking with my kid, and right on the trail, we found a turtle nest that had gotten dug up. And so I was really happy and also a little bit sad to find this. Really happy because it meant that I get to share turtle eggs with all of you and talk about them and look at them under my microscope. And a little sad because, those turtles, the baby turtles, they died, they got eaten. But that also meant that another animal got a meal and maybe fed their babies. So it's really cool thinking about how everything is just so connected in our world. And, one thing gets eaten and another thing gets to eat. And as a human, I really try to remember that my food, all of the things I eat, was once living, plant or animal, and it has an impact on the earth too. So let's see, I don't know exactly what kind of turtle laid these eggs. So I'm a bird nerd, a bird expert, not a turtle expert. But I also know that with birds, if you find a bird's egg, it's likely you'll be able to narrow it down to a few different species. So I might know that it's a sparrow, or I might know that it's a thrush. But even if, I studied bird nests for my master's thesis, I spent 4 years learning everything I could about them. And still people will show me an egg, even if it's a grassland bird egg, and I won't be able to know exactly what species it is. So I'm betting that turtles are the same way, and we wouldn't be able to know exactly what kind it is. But I do know that painted turtles are very, very common in this area. And so that's probably what it is, just given how common they are. So I want to show you, this is a picture of a painted turtle. And this is in one of the Wisconsin DNR ID guides, the Guides to Turtles and Lizards of Wisconsin. It's a really fun book, and it has just a very small selection of turtles and lizards in it, which is really useful if you're just learning them. So this is our painted turtle. Usually the ones I see are maybe this big, and they're really fun to watch because they're so easy to see when they're sunning on logs out in a pond or a stream, and some of them let you get pretty close if you're really quiet and stealthy. So I think that these turtle eggs could have been from a painted turtle. And when turtles lay their eggs, they do lay them in a nest, but not like a bird nest. Turtles dig their own nest. And so they'll use their front legs and they'll dig down into the sandy soil usually. And they will turn around and lay their eggs right in there and then cover it back up again. And so some animals, like raccoons, are really good at finding that disturbed soil where the turtle nest is. And those predators will then dig the nest up again and eat the turtle eggs. And so that's what I think happened here. And turtle eggs, let's see. I'm going to show you these turtle eggs. And the bird egg that I have today to compare is actually a chicken's egg, one that I ate this morning. So I do have a few bird eggs in the office right now, but I wasn't able to go in and get them. But I want to pause for a minute and say that bird eggs are absolutely protected. So if it's a chicken egg, of course you can eat it. If it was raised to be eaten, go for it. But if you find a wild bird's egg, they're protected. Same with their feathers, their nests, everything about those birds. So unless you have a permit, you cannot collect those eggs, or even you're not really supposed to touch them either. So if you find eggs in the wild, they're wonderful to look at, but please leave them where you find them. All right, so I am showing you a chicken egg along with our turtle eggs. And this chicken egg, I'm going to break it in half so it looks a little bit more like our turtle eggs. When you break a chicken egg, it pretty much holds its structure, right? I mean, obviously it's broken, but this part here stays in that shape. And these turtle eggs, when I found them, they were all curled up like this. And actually they were a little bit softer then too. They've dried out a bit and they've gotten pretty hard. But now they are curled up and the edges have sort of curled around too. This one looks even curlier. And that's because bird eggs are very, very rigid. And they're pretty strong. And turtle eggs are also strong, but they are a bit more flexible. They're not a soft egg. There's another group of animals that make soft eggs, but turtle eggs are much softer than bird eggs. And so they curl a little bit when they dry. So that's one way, if you find eggs on the ground, to know that they're a turtle egg and not a bird egg. All right, so what else do I want to tell you about eggs? There are a whole lot of things going on inside an egg. And I'm just going to show you a picture really quickly. I know a lot of the people watching are kiddos, so you don't need to really remember this or pay attention if you don't want to. So this is a drawing of an egg, and I know all those words are backwards, but these eggs have a shell. Remember, earlier this week, we talked about amphibians a lot, and amphibians, their eggs are softer. They're a lot more, they feel more like peeled grapes. And so those eggs, they don't have this hard shell along the outside. There's a little bit of an air sac, an air cavity, a gap there. And so we know that there's a yolk in the egg, right? When you crack a chicken egg, there's a yolk in it, the yellow part, and that provides the nutrients to the growing embryo, the baby inside. And then the white, the egg white, that is called the albumin. You don't need to know that word either. It's just cool to know that there's a science word for almost everything. And the albumin gives the embryo water. And then there are a few different sacs in there, and one of them is the amniotic cavity, and that helps the embryo not dry out. And all of these eggs, turtle eggs, bird eggs, mammals are included in this group because we have an amnion too. They're called amniotes. Everybody say amniotes. That's what we are. We're amniotes, and that's because we have that amniotic sac as we grow. Super cool. So there's a few other neat things about eggshells that I want to talk about. So, and I think I might even get my microscope out and show you these up close. So this microscope just clips onto the back of my camera here. And so I'm going to turn my screen around so you can see what the microscope sees, okay? And first I'm going to turn it on, this light, turn it on, so that the egg will be nice and bright when you see it. Okay, so there's my curtains, and there's our microscope. I'll make it bigger. And so eggs, the shell, is, it helps to protect the embryo from desiccation, and that's a fancy way of saying drying out. And can I get close enough to this? Yeah, that is the chicken eggshell up close. And do you see all those little dots? And it actually, you can see it's a little bit 3D. It's a lot more like little mountain ridges than like a flat plane. All of those little dots are the pores in the eggshell. Those are little holes, tiny, tiny little holes that help let air, oxygen, come in, and it lets CO2 leave the egg. And CO2 is carbon dioxide. That's what we breathe out and what plants breathe in. Well, take in, not breathe in. So those little holes are really important because that is part of how the little baby inside the embryo gets oxygen. And we all need oxygen in order to live and grow. So those are the pores on the chicken egg. I'm going to show you the same thing on the turtle egg. And the turtle egg is also dirty. And actually, this microscope might not be quite powerful enough to see them on the turtle egg. So you see a lot of dirt on there. That's interesting. So to me, that means that the pores on these turtle eggs must be smaller than the pores on the chicken eggs. Let's look at another one to compare. This is one turtle egg. I'm going to go find a different one. So because I can't change the magnification on this microscope. There, those, I think all those little black dots there, those are pores on this turtle shell. It looks to me like there are a lot fewer of the pores on the turtle shell. Let's look at the chicken one again. Do you see all those little black pores here? Let's try to get them really good in focus for you. There's a lot. Right there. Let's look at the chicken one again. So some of the dots here on this chicken egg are the color of the egg, the pigments in it. Let's focus. There we go. So there's dark brown spots. That's just the pigments, the colors. But the little gray shadowy areas, those are the pores that I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera around again so you can see me. Oops, I'm covering it. Okay, I have to take this off, it turns out. That was really cool. So I learned that, at least I observed, I would need to look at lots and lots more eggs to say that I officially learned it. But I observed that in the one chicken egg I looked at and the two turtle shells I looked at, there were a lot more pores in the chicken shell. And so I was doing a lot of learning about turtle shells. I know a bit about bird eggs, but not so much about turtle eggs. And the one real difference I found in them is in the way that the eggs are made. So all of the bird eggs and lots of lizard and snake eggs, they are made out of something called calcite. And that is, it's made of a lot of calcium, sort of like how our bones are made. It's not the same as our bones, but it's similar. And turtle eggs are made of calcite and magnesium. And the thing I learned about the magnesium is that it helps turtle eggs deal with not having a lot of oxygen, because they're buried in the sand and there's not often a lot of oxygen under there. And I do want to say that I'm not a turtle expert or a turtle egg expert. So if there are any experts out there watching this, add something in the comments if I'm missing something or if I'm not getting it quite right, because I am learning about this too. But what I learned is that when an animal doesn't have enough oxygen, it creates lactate, and it's acidic. And so you need something that is basic to help balance that. And the magnesium helps to balance that and keep the baby, the fetus, from getting too acidic. And so I wonder if that's partly why the chicken egg has a lot more pores than the turtle egg does. The pores probably help to, they certainly make the oxygen easier to come in and out of the egg, well, carbon dioxide out. But they probably also weaken the egg just a little bit. And so if the turtle egg doesn't know, but if the turtle egg isn't going to be getting much oxygen anyways, maybe fewer pores is a cool adaptation they have. I think that's neat. I'm going to have to look that up. See, I'm being a scientist. I made an observation on the pores. I asked a question about why that might be, sort of made my own hypothesis. And now I'm going to go look for more information to try to figure out if my hypothesis is true or false. And then, based on what I find, I get to change my mind again. So cool. All right, so I think we should explore this curly edge here on the egg. So I'm going to get my microscope back on, and we are going to look at the edges of the shells, okay? Let's turn you around. And snap that microscope on, make it bigger. Okay, I'm going to do the chicken egg first again, just so we can compare. So this is the edge of the chicken shell. It's very narrow, even under the microscope. So you can see that dark edge near the top. That is the color, the pigment of it. And the shell itself is a little bit whiter because there's many layers to the shell and they don't all have that pigment on it. There's the edge of the shell. And let's see if we can find a spot where the membrane is sort of hanging off. There's some of the membrane. That slab coming down. If you've ever peeled a hard-boiled egg and there's that skin on it underneath the shell, that's what that is. And let's find some more. Oops, I broke it with my microscope. It's tricky because I have to move the egg back and forth in order to get it in focus. Let's look at that membrane again. Oh, there's a perfect shot of it. So you can see the eggshell that has the color in it and those pores, and then that white papery membrane underneath. That's a pretty cool view there. I'm glad I found that. All right, and that membrane helps with gas transfer, and it helps to keep that embryo from drying out and safe and happy. Let's look at the edge of this turtle shell. And this, I think, might be a little trickier because the turtle shell has all curled up. So this is all rounded over, And I can't actually see that edge that we were looking at on the chicken egg. I just see the top of it curled over. So let's try and find a part that's broken a little bit more cleanly. That's close. This turtle egg is thinner than the chicken egg, partly because it's a smaller bird. No, it's not a bird. It's a smaller animal. The chicken egg is much larger than the turtle egg. But also I think partly because of the structure. That's pretty neat. So I'm not able to show you a really good look at the edge of this egg. Oh, that's cool. You can see some of that membrane in there a little bit too. They look like cobwebs between the pieces of the shell. That's a cool look there. Okay. So those were the two main things I wanted to look at, the edge of the shell and the outside. Maybe we could look at the inside of the shell. That would be kind of neat. I'm going to show you the insides of the shell really quickly, and then I think we're probably going to wrap up here. So if you have any questions, please write them in the comments. I'm not going to do 8-minute notes today, so if you have your own nature journal and you want to do your own 8-minute notes, remember there's 4 sections and you take 2 minutes for each section, and you can pick your own topics for each one. That'd be kind of fun. Usually I write something that's happened, something you wonder, something someone said, and then I draw something. So if you want to do your own 8-minute notes, go for it. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to show you the inside of the shells. I might have to break a short turtle shell to do that, but I think it'll be cool and worth it. So I'm going to flip this camera around. I'm going to show you the inside of the turtle shell, and then we should all go outside and explore, I think. It's a beautiful sunny day here. It's very hot though. All right, I'm going to break the chicken egg a little bit. I'm going to show you the outside first. So this is the pigmented outside of the shell with all of those pores, remember. Now let's flip it around and see the inside. And this is the inside. The inside with that layer, okay, I pulled that layer off. Now we can see the inside of the shell. Can we see all those pores? It's actually much smoother on the inside. That's interesting. I would have expected all the pores to be equally as visible on the inside, but maybe the pigmentation really helps you see the pores. And maybe that's why we can't see the pores as well on the turtle shell, because it's all white. Look at all the hypotheses I'm flinging around. Okay, so let's look again at the outside of the turtle shell, so we remember what it looks like. Very smooth. But now I have a new hypothesis about why we can't see the pores. It's because there's not much pigment in it. Now let's look at the inside of the shell. Now, the shell is also pretty dirty on this one, because I found it in the dirt. You know what? I gotta break it again. It's too curved. And now the light's not hitting it. Oh, this microscope is just not perfect for looking at turtle shells. That's the inside of a turtle shell. Not much detail that we can see. It's pretty much just white. Okay. Would everybody who's still with me like a bonus? Because I like turtle shells, but I have some other cool stuff here too. We found a butterfly that had died, and I think I'm going to do a whole different lesson on butterfly wings next week, but I'm going to give you a little preview this week. So I haven't identified this yet, but this is the hind wing of a butterfly, and I think we should look at it under the microscope, because I just can't stop using this thing. Okay, I'm going to turn this around, toss it on there, zoom it in, and let's check out this butterfly wing. So this is the top side with all the colors. Those are all the little scales on the butterfly wing. They're all different colors, and the way they're arranged helps give the patterning on the butterfly wing. And let's flip it over. Let's look at the back side. And I think I'm going to need to perfect using the other microscope when I do the butterfly wing ones, because they look really beautiful under that microscope. This is pretty cool too. But now we're looking at the back of the wing, the underside. Still pretty cool, but less colorful. I love that reddish orange there. Let's see if I can make my phone focus on it. Oh, that's better. All right, so stay tuned next week for our butterfly wing lesson. Maybe there'll be fewer technical difficulties. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me today about our lesson on turtle eggs and bird eggs. And let's see, check out our summer camp lessons. Check out our Safer in Front or at Home. All of our lessons are free and available to anyone with an internet connection. So if you have the means and you love what we're doing, we're going to drop a link in the comments here so you can click it and it takes you to a donation page. You can support us because every little bit helps. And if not, the lessons will still be here for you because everyone needs to take a little moment and relax in nature right now. All right, so get outside, go explore, and send me an email. Show me what you're doing outside. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.